Hey, what's up YouTube? Back another Focus ST video, and in this video I'm going to go over the Sync 3.4 system. I'm going to give a deep dive into this system, show you the ins and outs of the system, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience with using the Sync 3.4 system for the past week that I've had it on here. I did my last video putting it on here. This is the unofficial version of the Sync 3.4 update. This is not well, this is the version that you will get on 2020 vehicles, Sync 3.4, but this is just an unofficial version. I'm running this on a 2016 Ford Focus ST. This is an ST2, not an ST1 or the 3. So there's some features that that I don't have that I do think that will be available for people who have later model year vehicles, or it could possibly be available for someone who has an ST3 and not just an ST2. If you want to learn how to actually install this update, go watch my previous video. The previous video will be in the right there, link in the description. Check out that video, and I show you how to install Sync 3.4 on a 2016 and up. But just to let you guys know, for full transparency, I am coming from Sync 3.0, not 3.2 or 3.3. So there are a lot of things that I might say in this video having Sync 3.4 that you may have with your 2019 vehicle, and you're running, like, say, Sync 3.2 or 3.3. You may have already had some of these features, so maybe this isn't new, but this is all new to me. I want to first talk about just the overall design of the Sync 3 system. Sync 3.4 to me has a beautiful design. This is the night mode because I'm parked inside of the garage right now, so it thinks it's dark outside. So this is the night mode. It is all blue. It looks gorgeous. Day mode, I will show you day mode really quickly just to let you get a feel for what day mode looks like. Brightness, not brightness, mode, day mode, it looks incredibly awesome to me too. It still keeps that nice blue navigation bar at the bottom, but everything else is white at the top. And I'll go over some of the aesthetics a little bit as far as backgrounds and stuff, but this is what day mode is going to look like for you when you first load up the system, and that's what night mode for you is going to look like when you first load up this system. I think both modes look incredibly nice. So just with this look as a whole, it's completely different. Gone are the baby blues. Everything is a darker shade of blue. I do like how when each icon is lit up, you do see it is like a sheen. It's like a shine. It's like a dash between the top right part of the square all the way down to the bottom part. There is like a little line, and then the top portion is a little bit lighter than the bottom portion. You can see that better with the night mode. I'll go ahead and put this back in the night mode. Well, in auto, I'm just going to switch back to night mode. The highlighted icons, you can see it's audio. You can actually see, like I said before, it's just like the top part of it is a lighter shade than the bottom part, and on night mode it has this really cool glow around it. I really like that glow. I think it sets it off nicely. Night mode looks so good to me that I almost want to drive around with night mode on all the time. It's really nice. So besides just the theme, there are a little bit of design elements that are different than Sync 3.0. I'll switch to a radio station that actually is playing, and I can actually pick up an HD radio right now because I'm kind of halfway in the garage. It might work, it might not work. So one of the major things that I first noticed, besides just the overall theme being a lot nicer when it comes to gradients and when it comes to the overall color scheme of both day and night, it's the fact that text is center aligned. So you can see we have the call sign for the radio station. We have 107.7. that is the frequency you're going to put it on to get the station. But as you can see here at the bottom, what it's actually playing on the radio station, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Run Rudolph Run. I don't know why this HD2 station plays Christmas music year-round. It's really weird to me. It's center aligned. In Sync 3.0, it was actually aligned to the left. Now, having it being center aligned is a good and a bad thing, I guess. For me, it's kind of good because I kind of like the way it looks center aligned, because I don't know, I guess I never really noticed many car systems things being center aligned like that when it comes to audio. Just basic systems like this, not like a Tesla type system with a giant screen. So it's kind of cool to see that the text is center aligned, but it's bad in the sense that you do lose the amount of characters that can be shown on the screen, because here you have a giant HD radio thing which takes away characters. When this is gone, you do have more characters, and on the right side it's just nothing extends all the way out here because it's center aligned, and that would look weird for it to extend so far out. So when you put it on a radio station, so when you actually have music playing that actually is a long title, you will get ... And even with Bluetooth, this being here, that's taken away from it, but that still remains with radio. You will get ... when it comes to the titles of songs and artists, if it's long enough, both on radio and on Bluetooth, because everything is now center aligned. Your album art is now on the left side. It's showing a random photo. It's not showing the actual album art because Grace Notes is being weird with this, but that's what it's doing right there. So the design of the music screen is actually pretty different compared to Sync 3.0. Now I'm going to go back to the radio portion, and I want to talk about, there was a section right here that had presets. It had 3 lines. You would click it 1, 2, 3, and it would change between presets. Now that is no longer here with Sync 3.4. To change presets, you now see 3 dots at the bottom, kind of like you do on your smartphone screen or your iPhone, whatever you're using. You see little dots at the bottom to indicate how many home pages you have. Kind of similar to that. Just take your hand and you just swipe over, and it will go to preset bank 2 and preset bank 3. And in doing so, it's going to actually switch over to the last station that you were listening to on that preset bank. I'll show you Sirius XM. I don't have Sirius XM, but this is what the Sirius XM screen looks like. But you see here, this is what Sirius XM looks like now. The bottom right here, you do have your album art. You do have your channel art, and here you have the Sirius XM logo, and then your information right here in the center part. So that's what's different here on the audio portion. I'll show you the home screen portion. I'm going to blur out the left side of the screen because it has my location there. This still looks exactly the same. So let's go ahead and move over to climate. And climate is the new thing that showed up in my Sync 3 system, my Sync 3.4 system. This was never there for Sync 3.0 for me. I did go into ForceScan and force it one day, and it did not work. It did not function properly. So it's really cool, and I'm really excited to actually have climate here on my screen now. I guess it's kind of redundant when you really think about it, because I do have climate buttons down here on my center stack, but it doesn't really matter to me. I like having it up here. So, and it actually works. So turning climate on turns it on, and I'll try to move away so you don't get any noise from the air. But turning climate on turns it on. You do have up and down here at the bottom, on the left side, to control your temperature. Here is where you can control where you want the air to go. So if you take it off, whatever it's on, if you take it off, it will actually go to auto. And then if you want defrost, you can click defrost, and you have max defrost or just regular defrost. And then you have bottom, and then here you can turn them all on if you want to. You can have it on auto if you want to. It works really nicely. AC, when you click the AC button, it brings up another screen that actually allows for max AC, regular AC, or the recirculating air. Now, one thing I will say as far as a bug, as far as this goes, is that AC is reversed on here for me on my 2016 Focus ST. Right now, AC is off, and I will show you, and I will actually prove this to you here with an actual video from my phone. So AC is actually off on the screen, as you can see there, and when I click AC on the screen, it turns it off down here. And when I click AC off on the screen, it turns it on down there. It's not how it's supposed to work. It's just a bug, if I assume so. That's just how that is. It's just a bug that I just have to kind of deal with. It's not a big deal. But one really helpful thing as far as having climate on the screen is that I'll show my phone again, that same little clip. The auto button, you have to actually hold down the auto button here on the left side to actually get dual to come on or off, and that was one of the things that pissed me off about having this car. I don't really have anybody in the car, so I guess I shouldn't say it pissed me off, but it was kind of stupid to me not to have a dual button when you have dual zone automatic, when you have dual zone climate control, because holding down the auto button to turn dual on or off would actually turn auto on, and it just kind of made no sense. But now here in the sync screen, you can actually click the dual button here, on or off, and then it'll turn dual on or off. You don't have to worry about holding down auto or anything like that. So I really like having dual right there on the screen. So that's how climate works here on the Sync 3.4 system on my Focus ST. Let's go ahead and move on to phone. Phone is another thing that had a new feature in it that I was really psyched about. Let's go ahead and show you that right now. So as you probably saw, I guess with it connecting, I don't know if my phone connected in the video. I do use a Google Pixel 4 XL. So one of the things I really wished that this phone had, that iPhones do have, if I'm not mistaken, iPhones had it here on the Sync system for a very long time. It was Siri hands-free, and now I finally have access to the Google Assistant. So in the phone setting, there's a new tile called Phone Voice Assistant. So clicking that actually makes the Google Assistant come on, and holding down on the, say, command button on the steering wheel actually does it too. So when you hold down on the steering wheel button, it actually comes on. So I really do like that. I'm so happy that I actually have access to the Google Assistant here on the phone, because here in the car, because I don't have to actually rely on Android Auto, because a lot of times Android Auto is cool, but it's just buggy at times, and I like to just go ahead and use the sync system. So having full access to the Google Assistant works very, very well. So one thing you do have to know about using the phone assistant here is that it will activate on radio, but it doesn't really talk to me on radio. It wasn't doing it just a second ago. Most of the time I'm using Bluetooth anyway, so on Bluetooth it actually works. So what is Tesla stock at right now?
Tesla closed up 7.55% today at 560.
So let's go ahead and go back to phone here. So top left, you have your recent call list. My recent call list isn't really working correctly. I'll show it. Nah, it's not working correctly. That's just a random number. I don't know who that is. It's not working correctly because I am running Android 11 beta on my phone, and Bluetooth's acting really weird with it. So I'm not really sure what's up with that. My contact list is also not working. When you click on the phone here, you can actually have more settings. So you can view more devices. You can manage your contacts. You can set the phone ringtone for the car. There's different phone ringtones in the car. If you wanted to hear how those sound, you really can just DM me on Instagram, and I will send you a video of me showing off the phone ringtones. Instagram will pop up right here in the video, and in the link in the description. I don't really want to waste too much time going over that. Text messages here, you can also set more phone ringtones for the text messages that pop up on the sync screen. Once again, hit me up if you want to see that. Mute audio and privacy. So if you're in privacy mode on the phone, privacy mode is when you have a phone call. I'll show you in a second. When you have a phone call, if you want to take that phone call in private without having it come through the Bluetooth speakers in the car, then you can take it in privacy mode, and muting that setting will mute the radio audio and it won't come through. I have it off. It'll give you a roaming warning and a low battery notification. I turn the low battery notification off because for me it doesn't really work so well, because it actually gives me a low battery warning at 30%, and I was like, this is not what I want. Yeah, do not disturb. Well, your notifications will not show up on the sync screen when you're driving. Your phone keypad, I'll show you the phone keypad. It does not list the letters, but there's the phone keypad. So go back, and then a call pops up. Your text messages here, I'll show you the text messages really quickly. You can click on one right here, and then one will pop up, and it'll show you what it says, what time it was received. You can reply with these quick replies here. There are a good amount of them. Just pause the video to see what they look like. You can hear the message.
Oh wow.
It says, oh wow, you can call it. So let's go back from there. When you're actually driving, a notification will pop up. I will show you in a second. I will just send a quick text message to myself. Well, I'm using RCS with this phone, sending the message, so it's not going to pop up on the screen. Shoot. So RCS messages do not pop up. I'm going to go ahead and send the message again as an SMS. And that's what it looks like when you're driving. Reply is actually view. View is actually no reply. Reply is actually grayed out. I'm not mistaken. So that's what it looks like when you get a text message. You can hear it, reply, different things like that. So let's go ahead and move on from phone, because phone is very simple. Oh, you know what? I'll go ahead and call myself really quickly too, so you can see what the call screen looks like. It is much different than before. Incoming calls look like this. Accept the call. It will show you the number. I'm pretty sure to actually show you the name of the person, but once again, my contact list is not working correctly. And then you have end call, mute, phone, keypad, and privacy all right there at the top. You do have your signal strength at the bottom, and your messages and all that stuff at the bottom. So yeah, that's what the call screen looks like. Let's move on to navigation.
Hey, this is VoiceOver Lenny coming in after the fact in post-production. I actually got clips of the navigation in action. This is in daylight mode. At the top, you see here a 6.3 miles, and you see the road that I'm on. There's an X on the right. That actually is letting you know the next road that I'm turning on, and lets you know what way I'm going to be turning on to that road and how far away the road is. And there's an X. That X on the right is actually how you get rid of the navigation guidance. This that you're seeing on your screen now is actually screen view. There are 3 different screen views. You have full map, which is what I just showed you originally. You have highway exit info, and that actually gives you the upcoming exits that are on the side of the road that you're passing by. It lets you know what exit they are. It lets you know if there's gas on that exit, food on that exit. It's a really cool feature, and it's just for any passing by exit. It's not even just the exit you're going to be turning onto. Then you have turn list. It gives you a listed view of all the turns you have left for your trip on the right of the screen. So this is what it looks like when you're coming up on your turn. Maybe it'd be a left or right turn. The right side of the screen will switch over to that, and it gives you a little progress bar on the bottom left part of that right area, letting you know how much distance is left before your turn. Now let's go back to Car Lenny so he can finish his video.
Let's click on apps. This is Sync Applink. Sync Applink has been a thing for a very long time. I believe it's also available on Sync 2 or My Ford Touch, whatever they used to call the old system. I think Sync 2 was the small screen and My Ford Touch was the big screen. I can't really remember. But anyways, in Sync 3.0, it is also still here and it's still trash. If you click Find Mobile Apps, I have 3 apps on this phone that are Sync Applink compatible, and one of them just doesn't show up. I can hardly ever get all 3 of them to pop up at the same time. I really hope that this approach for Sync Applink is not what they rely on for the Mustang Mach-E. I'm really interested in that vehicle, and if they don't have built-in app support, I don't really know how I would feel about that, because I'm not exactly sure how much I trust Applink. Maybe on the Sync 4A system that's going to be in the Mach-E, it's going to be better. But it's utter trash in the Sync. It's been that way since I've gotten this car at Sync 3 version 1.0. It was bad. So I put Pandora on this phone because I wanted to see what it looked like for Sync Applink, and it rarely shows up. And when it does show up, it is so bad. It does not work at all. The only app I can ever get to work with Sync Applink is iHeartRadio. So let's go ahead and show you that app right here. So there's one thing I've noticed about iHeartRadio and Sync Applink, in that the text is aligned to the left side, so you still get all the information as far as the characters goes for your artist and title. So this is what it looks like, and iHeartRadio works decently. I will give it that. It works decently. And it's gotten a little bit better, but it's still not the greatest, because when you click on menu and you click on any of these menu options, it goes back to the home screen and it just waits on the home screen. For the longest time I thought it just didn't work. Then I had to realize that I had to sit here and actually just wait for it to pop up. So there it is. It actually pops up, and now I have my the presets with all the icons. So that's cool, but the fact that it takes so long to pop up, I don't like it. Now I guess you watching this video, you're like, oh, it doesn't take that long, blah blah blah. It does for me. SiriusXM travel link, you have fuel prices, movie listings, subscription info. I thought my subscription was over with. I thought it was over with in this car. Oh, maybe it's over with in this year. But so that's how you get the fuel prices and stuff like that. You have a travel list, sports info, weather. Weather looks really nice now. I like the way the icons look. Click on area, and you can click on. There used to be a map. I don't think there's a map anymore. There we go. So there's a map right there, storm, radar, chart. So that's pretty cool. The map kind of goes in depth. It's kind of more than you would think it to be. You have the legend that can pop up at the bottom. So the design of weather is slightly different when it comes to the icons and all that. It looks really nice. So let's go ahead and go back to the beginning. Sports info. I don't really mess with sports like that. I don't even have SiriusXM, so I don't even know if it'll even work. And plus, everything's dead right now because of COVID. So movie listings also dead. Now let's go ahead and go here to the settings menu. Go back over one screen. You have sound. Sound looks the same, speed dependent, volume kind of thing. Your balance, fade, your clock. You can actually get to the clock not just by going to settings and clicking on clock, but if you just click on the clock, it will go to the clock too. That's genius. It should work that way. And when you hit the back button, it actually goes back to the previous menu you were on, not back in the settings menu. Bluetooth here, you can add a Bluetooth device or not. And there's one more thing to talk about with Bluetooth too. To change phone was never an option on my Sync 3.0 system. I don't ever remember it being there. You can change phone if you have multiple phones in the car that are compatible with the system, or like I guess having previously connected to the system. Just click on that and you can click on one of the phones here and connect it. So we'll go back here and then we'll click on phone. And this is your phone settings. The phone settings are the same phone settings that I showed you earlier in the video when I clicked on phone and went to the phone settings in there. It's the same thing. We click on navigation settings. It's also the same navigation settings. You can get to it from the navigation app or from there. That's how systems are supposed to be built. I do like that UX. When I'm in a certain area of an app, I like to be able to click on the settings in that app and go to the settings for that app. I don't want to have to get out of the app and then click on settings and then go to the settings for the app. It makes no sense. So mobile apps is right here. You can enable mobile apps via USB. This is also something that's new. I don't ever remember seeing this in Sync 3.0. It is all apps and forward pass and iHeartRadio. These are all of your apps that you have on here. Clicking on this will actually give you permissions for each of these apps. You can turn these permissions on or off, and that's for all the apps. And if I just go back and click on iHeartRadio, it gives me there's no permissions for this app, so there's no permissions for it to click on and off. But if I click on forward pass, it will give me permissions for that app. So there, I don't ever remember permissions being a thing in Sync 3.0. They possibly were in Sync 3.3 or 3.2 that you're coming from, but not for me in Sync 3.0. I'm going to go back here and click on General. General here is just general. You have language, you have temperature, you have measuring units in miles or not, touchscreen beep on or off, automatic system updates. This is the unofficial version, so from what I'm hearing, you will not. This car wasn't supposed to get Sync 3.4 in the first place, so automatic system updates you don't really need to have it on or off because you're not going to get the updates anyways. Sync analytics or diagnostics. This is something that's also new in Sync 3.4 that I did not have in Sync 3.0. This will send for different I guess you can just say different things about what you do, how you interact with the car, and things that they can use on their end to make the sync system better. I have them all on. It's totally up to you. Have them on or off if you want the privacy or not. I'll click on each individually so you can pause and read what they are. Here is sync diagnostics. Pause and read it if you want to. And then audio listing analytics. This popped up for me as a notification when I first turned the car on one day after using the 3.4 update for a couple of days. It just randomly popped up. I have a picture of it. I'll show you. It allowed me to turn it on or off in that pop-up, and you can actually find it here in the settings too if you want to do it that way. And you can submit feedback. I really like that about submitting feedback. So if you have a problem with the system, hey, this didn't work, you know, that click it, complicated to use, submit the feedback. You can't really give specifics. But I like the fact that they're trying to incorporate a Tesla-like experience here, even for this car that's like 5 years old. I got it in 2015. I still kind of have that little submit feedback thing, even though it's officially not supposed to be for this car. It's just kind of cool that it's here in this Sync 3.4 system. So I'm going to go all the way back here. You have a master reset and then about sync. I do have the latest maps and things like that. So let's go back here to the settings. Automatic updates, that's also there again. Connect to a Wi-Fi network so you can actually send those diagnostics and those data analytics and things like that from that the car collects. You can send that to Ford via the Wi-Fi or you know. Yeah, the Wi-Fi would also be used for automatic updates, but once again, you're not going to get it if you update it the way that I did, if your vehicle was not actually supported for Sync 2.4. Android Auto settings are all right here. Vehicle settings here, there's nothing but a camera in this car. I'm sure it's different in your car, maybe SC3 or a newer model maybe. Display, this is something that's also new in Sync 3.4, and I love it. So you can have the display off, which is, you know, that's always been there. The background is what's new. So I'll show you all 4 backgrounds in dark mode. So in night mode, this is the default background. You do have a gray background. You have this cool gradient background. Actually, I guess all these are kind of gradients, but this one has a diamond look to it. I really like that. And this one has just a more rougher look to it. It's not necessarily diamond. I'll preview day. What I'll actually do instead of previewing day is just change it to day mode. Now we are here in day mode, and I will click on these. These are your backgrounds for day mode. You have the regular one, the default one that's slightly a more blue hue to it. One that's a little like a turquoisey. I don't know what kind of color that is. And then this one's kind of a similar color, just a different pattern. And this pattern here is these two are the same pattern for both day and night. They do have the same pattern for both day and night. This is one of the things I noticed about this in this unofficial update. The brightness really doesn't get all that bright. So you have on and you have dim, completely bright. And in this version of it, this is version 221. This version here, it just doesn't really get all that bright for me. So let's go back here. And then that's basically it. You have valet mode. This is another mode that I don't remember being in Sync 3.0, but it could be. Valet mode, you just turn on a pin. So I'll do pin 1, 2, 3, hit done, confirm the pin 1, 2, 3, and then it stays like this. The car is actually in valet mode, and you can't do anything else with it except for to make the pin. So if I actually turn the car off and back on, the pin's still there. You still have to turn the pin on or off. It does not go away if you turn the vehicle on or off. So I do like that about valet mode. Done. two bugs that I've seen squashed. One of them is actually tracking forward in radio. Tracking forward sometimes in radio would actually go back. So say I'm here on Power 107. Double tapping this should go to 96.3 Kiss FM. Double tapping it back will go back to Power 107. In Sync 3.0, even after all the updates that I did in 3.0, double tapping it would just go back one station. It was the most frustrating thing ever, and it does not do that anymore. Thank goodness. Another bug that is also squashed now is actually picking up the phone and nobody being able to hear anybody. I couldn't hear the person on the other end. They couldn't hear me. It always happened. I would be like driving in the car just for a little bit, and then I pick up the phone and then nobody could hear anybody. But I had to hang up the phone and call back, and then it would work. I don't know why that is, and this is with any Android phone that I had in this car. It was so frustrating, but I have not had that happen to me yet. That's the Sync 3 system. Love it. Love having climate here. Didn't think I was going to have it. Love having the phone assistant. Love having the backgrounds. Love the design overall. So if you want to see more, hit up the comment section. Let me know what you want to see. Hit me up on Instagram if you want to talk like one-on-one. If you're like, hey, show me this, I'll show you it. I'll make a video just for you and send it to you on Instagram. So that's just what I do. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video. I'm gone. Boop.